Right. So welcome to a special edition of Gentle Somatic Yoga and Yin and other methods for balancing the throat chakra. And today I am wearing blue, and blue is the color of the throat chakra. So if you are drawn to blues, it may be because you need to do something to support your throat chakra, or this is your preferred place to be. And so because of that, you're drawn to colors that have to do with things either that you are interested in fixing or being supportive, or somehow it feels energetically correct. So that's why I'm wearing blue today, but I've always been drawn to blue. And before we get started, I do want to tell you a quick personal story that for years I would take these chakra online tests. And every time I took the test, it was always my throat chakra needing support or being out of balance. And this didn't make a lot of sense to me because I was a school teacher and a mom. And so I felt pretty free in using my voice. But then I realized all the subtleties of the throat chakra. It's not only having the ability to speak your truth, but it's feeling like what you're saying is reaching people. And so I guess as a mom and a teacher, I often felt like everything I was saying was just being lost in the wind. Nobody was listening. And so it's very, very nuanced whether or not your throat chakra is out of balance. So it's not, just cut and dry. And there are 16 petals of the throat chakra. So we will get into them as well and explore all the different ways you can either feel that your Vishuddha, and Vishuddha means purification, your center of Vishuddha, your center of purification is open or closed. And it's very interesting. So the movements today are going to involve the neck. So I want to alert you to be very, very careful with these movements because we are going to be doing a lot of up and down and side to side with the neck. So be aware of your own restrictions as we go through this. We will start standing and then we'll move down, down, down. So we won't go up and down. And we'll end up on the floor. This first one is called the wood chopper's pose. And it actually, you are going to look like you're chopping wood. Now, if you don't want to do this standing, you could do this from a chair. But literally, you're going to draw your arms up. And then when your arms go up, your chin's going to go up. And then you're going to go down, and then your chin's going to come down, and you want to make a sound, any sound that feels like you need to get it out of you. So it could be, or it could be, whatever sound you want to make. We're going to be making a lot of sounds today. And so hopefully you're in a place where you can make sounds without feeling embarrassed. That's one of the best ways to release and balance the throat chakra. So go ahead and start chopping wood. Get it out. Okay, it might make you a little dizzy. So come back to standing or seated, and maybe just put your hands gently on your throat and feel any vibrations that you might have created through just this little movement and sound today. Now take your second and third finger and find a spot right behind your ears and massage that 3 times forward, or 3 or more, and then 3 times back. Sometimes imbalances in the throat chakra can show up as neck pain, ear problems, throat problems, thyroid issues. So there's many physical ways an imbalance in the throat chakra can show up, as well as the energetics of it. So give yourself a nice rub here. All right, go ahead and interlace the hands behind the head, and this will support your neck. So actually feel like you're supporting the base of your spine with the top of your hand. So it's actually forming some little kind of traction for you. And lift up as you open up, and then draw elbows together as you tuck your chin in, closing the throat. And then breathing as you're doing this, lifting, and drawing elbows together, throat closing. Lifting, and throat closing. Release the hands and just gently move the shoulders around organically. Shake the hands out. And this one is a form of nerve flossing, which is very good for pinched nerves and things like that. So we're not exactly stretching. We're changing the pressure differential within the casings of the nerves. So the way you accomplish this is you're going to take, so I have my left hand out. If you want to mirror me, it would be your right, but you don't have to mirror me. And then my hand is facing down. So in this one, you can see you're lengthening the top of the wrist, right? So notice that. And since you're lengthening that end of the muscle, you should shorten the other end. And so your head's going to go that way. And then go the opposite with your other hand. So we are lengthening one end of a muscle and shortening the other. And now let's go ahead and reverse. So when the neck, whatever side the neck is leaning toward, that hand goes down. Whatever side the neck is leaning away, that hand goes up. Nerve flossing, different than stretching. Safer for people who have nerve issues, pinched nerves, and things like that. Okay, shake it out. Just move your shoulders around again. Now, the next one, you could be in a chair doing it, or you could be doing it standing up. And standing up is going to be more of a cardiovascular workout. But both of them, I still want you to focus on shortening and lengthening this area. So from the chair or from standing, you're tucking one arm to the opposite leg, tucking one arm to the opposite leg. It becomes more of a balance if you're doing this standing up, tucking and then lifting. And then if you're doing it from the chair, it's not a balance, but you're still getting that motion, tucking and then releasing and tucking and releasing. So feel the release each time. And you're crossing the energy channels, which is incredibly good for your brain. This is something that's part of brain health, because as we age, we tend to have more difficulty doing opposite things, opposite arm, opposite leg. And then obviously the cardiovascular is if you're standing up. Make sure you're really feeling this with the neck. All right, go ahead and shake that out. Move your shoulders around. So the sound that's associated with the Vishuddha chakra is hum, which makes sense. So anytime today that you can hum, hum, you'll notice the vibration there. You'll be opening up the throat. And if you are a person who likes to sing, today's practice would be a great time to add singing to your practice. You don't want to hear me sing. So take your hands on your back body, elbows are pointed back, and tuck the chin in. And then release the chin up, arms go up. Tuck the chin in. Release, arms go up. Tuck the chin in as you're opening your shoulders. Release, and the arms go up. Once again, go ahead and shake that out and loosen it up. We'll do the eagle pose as our balance today. And the eagle pose works very well for both this chakra and the third eye chakra. So we're probably going to be working on the eagle pose for the next couple of weeks. If your balance is challenged, grab a chair or be near a wall. And the other thing you might want to do as a prep for eagle pose is have a block nearby. So have the block, if you're using a chair or a wall, have it on the inside, and take one foot, the inside foot, and put it up on there. So this is actually already a prep for eagle pose, because check out your balance, like right here. So I've got my right leg on the block, and if I need to, I have my right hand close to the chair. So next step is to cross that leg over. If that is in your practice, you could stay here the whole time and still accomplish eagle pose. But if you're able to, you're crossing this leg over. There's a slight bend to your supportive leg. So that in itself is already, you can feel quite, quite challenging. And then you might want to try taking your hand away and see how that works. Now, if you're keeping your foot on the block, you're going to add your arms. Either way, we're going to add our arms in. So unless your balance is totally off and you don't want to remove your arms from the chair. So my right leg is over. I'm going to take my right arm under and then reach for my shoulders and tuck the chin in. Now, if you want to go further than this, and you can keep your leg here the whole time and just do the arms, you would touch the backs of your hands together. So you feel like you should be feeling the squeeze in your front body near your neck. And you could take the hands and reach the hands toward each other. So this can be very taxing for the shoulders and the neck. So only do the level that works for you, either here, backs of hands, fronts of hands. So you see how that block is very helpful. If I lose my balance, I can put my foot back on that block, and you're breathing. Okay. Whew. So from here, I'm turning to face my chair, and I'm just going to stretch my leg out. I used to be able to do eagle flying without having my hands on a chair, and maybe someday I'll get back to that. All right, so we're going to try the eagle pose on the other side. Step one in eagle pose would be to have one foot on the block and one foot on the floor. And this could be your leg position the whole time. If you don't want to cross your leg over, you just keep your leg here and work on the arms. So it's my left leg that's either up or over, which means my left arm is under. You can start like this. If you want to cross the leg, you cross the leg. There has to be a slight bend in your supportive leg in order for you not to fall over. And then maybe you're doing backs of hands together. Maybe. Tuck that chin in. Maybe the hands are reaching for each other. You're breathing, you're feeling the work around your neck area. Breathing. And then if you want to go into warrior 3, your leg is going behind you. Maybe I'll try to do a flying eagle. Maybe. Okay. Easier with my right leg because you tend to have a dominant leg. So any one of these versions, so really this can be done purely with one leg on the block and really working the upper body because we're focusing very much on the upper body. But you can make it as challenging as you want. And some people are able to get their foot behind. Never for me in all my years, never. Okay. So we're going to, that will be it for our standing work today. So find your way to any comfortable seat. We'll do a mudra practice next and then work our way down. So the throat chakra is all about finding your voice and purifying your voice. So how our voice can get locked up. And if you think about all those expressions that I have, you know, a lump in my throat, I feel tongue-tied. Any of those kind of things are when we feel like we can't speak our truth and speak from the heart. So, you know, and on the opposite side of things, there are people who gossip or communicate in a way that that doesn't help. And there is an acronym that I have grown to love when it comes to speaking. And the acronym is based on the word think, THINK. So these are the questions you might ask yourself before you speak is it truthful? Is it helpful? The H. Is it inspirational? The I. Is it necessary? The N. And K, is it kind? So as much as possible to keep those in mind. And they're all in my blog this week. I just haven't published my blog yet. There's been a lot of things keeping me from publishing it. All right, so the mudra we'll do today is called the Angushta Mudra, and it's the gesture of the thumb. And this other part of the throat chakra has to do with your ability to listen, and not only listen to others, but listening to the guidance of your inner being. So this one is building up the listening skills to your inner being. So make fists, except leave the thumbs out. And then just point the thumbs toward each other. And just put the palms in front of your solar plexus, which is right above your navel, and draw your shoulders back. And you'll hold this. So thumbs touch each other. The rest of fingers are in. And your hands are resting against your body near your solar plexus. And just start to breathe and notice where the breath is coming in and out of. So the Angushta Mudra, by joining the tips of your thumbs together, directs the breath, the awareness, and the energy into the uppermost part of the chest, your collarbone, your throat, and your neck. The enhanced breathing and awareness helps release tension from these areas. So notice if you're starting to release tension from the area. As tension is released, The gesture supports correct alignment of your cervical spine, which alleviates some of the possible causes of neck pain. It brings up the Udana Vayu, which is the energy current that activates your nervous and endocrine systems and works on all your senses. And the activation of the Udana Vayu allows for the release of tension from the face, the head, and all your senses, especially focusing on the jaw and the cheeks, which makes it very helpful for TMJ disorders. So it activates the space element, Akasha. And the Akasha element brings about expansion, a feeling of limitlessness, and an opening to the subtle energies of our being. This helps in spiritual purification and clear communication. The opening also enhances our power of inner listening, allowing us to receive the messages that we need to guide our life. It's our inner voice. So your guided meditation, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and close your eyes. Space of inner listening. As you hold the Angushta Mudra, take several natural breaths, tuning into all the feelings and the sensations awakened by the gesture. Notice how your breath is gently directed into your throat and neck, allowing tension to be released from these areas. Take several breaths to experience this release. Allow your throat and neck to relax. Sense the release in your face, your jaws, and your cheeks. As tension is released, you're able to sense a growing inner spaciousness, an opening to receive guidance from within your being. Allow your throat to relax even more deeply. Release any unspoken words or feelings that might be keeping you from tuning in to your inner voice more completely. Soften your throat center. Tune in to the space of inner listening. What guidance are you receiving? They could come in the form of words, images, symbols, maybe even a subtle feeling. In order to cultivate the inner listening, take several breaths to bring to mind an issue in your life for which you want to receive guidance. Take some time to attune to your inner voice. Listen for any messages. Invite clarity to arise in relation to the issue you are exploring. As you become open to receive guidance, envision how it might be integrated into all areas of your life journey. Envision any changes you need to make in order to honor the guidance you've received. What do you need so that it can be manifest in daily life? Affirm your deeper listening by repeating the following 3 times, aloud or silently. Listening to the voice of my inner being. I receive clear guidance for my life journey. Listening to the voice of my inner being, I receive clear guidance for my life journey. Listening to the voice of my inner being, I receive clear guidance for my life journey. Go ahead and release the gesture. Take several natural breaths to integrate the wisdom you may have received. If you have a notebook nearby, you might want to jot some things down so you don't forget them. As you're ready, return slowly and gently, more sensitive to that inner voice that guides your journey. So that's the Angushta Mudra, which helps to balance your Vishuddha or throat chakra. Okay, so go ahead and make your way. Either you can stay in cross-legged if you want, but if you are able to sit on your knees, even just briefly, we're doing lion's breath now. Lion's breath is one of those breath practices that are a great release for the throat chakra, as well as any pent-up emotions. And the fun part about doing this on the knees, if you can tolerate it, is you can kind of do like that, like leaping, like you're like attacking something. Now you could still accomplish the same thing from a cross-legged or sitting in a chair. Okay. So I want to go through the directions because lion's breath is pretty unique. Let's see, I got to find where I put my directions. Okay, I know I have it here. It's known as Singasana or lion's pose or lion's breath. So this is thunderbolt pose is where I'm in. And one of the ways to make thunderbolt pose work better for you might be to sit on things. So if you're a person who doesn't want to come all the way down, you can sit up like this. And again, you can still be in cross-legged. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the palms of both of our hands onto our legs and extend the fingers. As you inhale, you're going to widen your eyes and bring your tongue out. Contract the throat, drop the chin to the chest, and go, ah. So inhale, tongue out, contract the throat, ah, and release it. Do it again. Inhale, stick that tongue out. Ah. So basically, you're kind of, you're like leaping out like a lion. That's the whole idea of this. And it should make you smile. Your throat should be feeling pretty darn open. Now, we're going to stay on our knees just for a little bit to try one other really interesting pose. Go really carefully on this. This is a pose where we're going to start on hands and knees, and then we're going to bring our face down first with our chin down first, so the butt's in the air, right? And then you're going to just slowly start to roll down all the way down, and then come up into a position with your forearms on the ground. So let's try that again. So you're trying to stick the butt in the air. This is called chin, chest, belly, all the way down. Now, I can't quite do it that way. So the idea is you're trying to get your chin down first, then your chest, then your belly, and then you're down. And you don't have to be completely up like this. So this is very good again for opening up this area of our body. Go ahead, and if you can, take a little rest, make a pillow with your arms, and windshield wiper your legs side to side. So we'll strengthen our back a little bit while we're here on our belly. And you can do this with your arms in front, with your hands supporting your head, with your hands by your chest in a traditional plow pose. No, not a plow pose, a traditional locust pose. Or you can even have your hands by your side, palms up, whichever feels appropriate. So literally, you're going to just be lifting up and lowering down, turning your head to one side. Lifting up, really feel the chin and your neck working here, and then lowering. Lifting and lowering and lifting and lowering. So to release this posture, you could draw a leg out to the side and take a little rest on your belly. When we're working these upper channels, there is a little more belly work, but this is so good for our backs too. We don't do enough strengthening in this direction. So this is really wonderful for balancing out your back body too. If you have back pains anywhere, go ahead and switch sides and draw the other knee up to rest. All right. And let's go ahead and take our time coming onto our backs. So if you want to, well, before you get on your backs, if you want to go back and forth a few times in a moving child's pose, and you can play with head movement in this. Draw chin in, draw chin up, draw chin in, draw chin up, and have some supplies near you. The next couple of poses are going to be more from the yin style that are either need a block or a blanket, a rolled blanket, or a bolster. And we're going to do a supported fish pose. Supported fish is one of the main poses for supporting the throat chakra. And I don't do a regular fish anymore, so I only do supported fish. And with supported fish, you're laying on your back and your head is a little bit lower than your chest. And but for me, I can't go too low, and for a lot of us. So what I usually do is I still have my head landing on something, and then I elevate my back as well. So it's not really a full fish. It's kind of, and this may be too high, maybe a rolled blanket, but you can still see that you're getting a real fish. You would have your arms like this under your back and you'd be holding yourself like that. And I can't do that. So we're going to modify it to make it, we're still going to get the benefits without the danger of a real fish pose, because really, I don't think it's safe for many of us. So find what level you need under your head and then what level under your shoulders. So yeah, this one for me, I'm still getting that real lengthening in my chin and chest area. And then my shoulders could be draped over whatever I'm leaning on. So, and then I'm getting this opening also up here. Decide how you want your legs. This is probably the easiest on the low back, just with them bent and knees up. You could, if somebody wanted to do their inner thighs, but I would suggest you put something under each leg if you're doing that. If you want to get your whole front body, you could stretch out completely. So find a way to make this pose very healing and very opening to your throat chakra. We're going to stay here for a bit. So this has got to be a pose that you can hold for the next couple of minutes. So take your time, make any adjustments needed so this can be a held pose. And while this pose is held, I'm going to go through the petals of the throat chakra. I'm going to say them all first and then slow down. So the petals are, and it's interesting, I thought when I first looked at these petals, I was like, how does this relate to my throat? But the throat chakra is about purification. And so you're going to hear a lot about other senses, not just speaking. It's your thoughts, your beliefs, and things like that. So petal 1 is commitment. If you have a difficult time committing to things. Petal 2 is purification. Petal 3 is discipline. So that would be if you had difficulty maintaining a regular practice or doing anything, committing to something. Petal 4 is self-study. If you have difficulty in seeing your own limiting tendencies. Petal 5 is discernment. If you have difficulty discerning between personality, ego, and your true self. Petal 6 is faith. Petal 7 is non-attachment, difficulty in releasing attachment to people, things, habits, or beliefs. Petal 8 is simplicity. Petal 9 is conscious presence, difficulty staying focused on one thing that would give your life real meaning. Petal 10 is equanimity. If you're losing emotional balance easily and struggle to become centered. Petal 11 is lightness. If you tend to take things too seriously. Petal 12 is grace. Petal 13 is wholeness. If you perceive yourself as defective, incomplete, or lacking. Petal 14 is inner silence. You have difficulty experiencing a quiet mind in meditation or daily living. Petal 15 is bliss. You have difficulty in accessing joy or bliss. And petal 16 is surrender. If you have the need to always be in control. So I would like to invite the students that are doing this live with me to very gently make their way off of this cushion and type in the chat if any one of these resonated with them. And then I could just focus on up to the 3 of my live students rather than trying to do 16 of these today. And so since I can't hear you today, I need you to type in the chat. So I fixed my microphone, but now my speakers aren't working. So take your time, make your way, and type in whichever one, maybe, as I was saying, it was like, oh, that's the one I want to work on. So maybe we'll have up to 3 that we'll dive a little deeply in, or maybe you will pick the same ones. Let's see, discernment. We got one who's picking discernment. Anybody else have any that you remember? I went through a lot of things. So if I only get that one, I'll focus on that one. And again, for my live students, I will send you the list afterwards, and we can always review this another time. Okay. So it looks like we're going to do discernment because I've only had one thing put in the chat. So let's go ahead and work on discernment today. Discernment's a good one anyway, because it is sort of trusting our inner voice that we can choose, make the right choices, because we're always faced with so many different choices all the time. All right. So discernment, the sound is um, 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 um. And the mantra that you could say to yourself is, I reflect on my thoughts and deeds, guiding me to my true inner being. And we could probably come up with an easier way to say this. I think he says it a little complicated. That how about I am guided by my thoughts to my true inner being. I am guided by my thoughts to my true inner being. I am guided by my thoughts to my true inner being. I am guided by my thoughts to my true inner being. I am guided by my thoughts to my true inner being. Um, um, um. So whichever one of these 16 petals needs support, you would focus on the seed sound that affects the petal, as well as a mantra that you might repeat to yourself over and over again. You could put it on sticky notes around your walls to help you get to this place of balancing that. So this is, in some ways, this is neuro-linguistic programming, where we are reprogramming by repeating things, by noticing things, by talking to our subconscious. And catching any thoughts that are not being guided by your true inner being. So it's first catching it, being mindful of it, and then shifting. That is a way to do this. Okay, so back to some more movement. Let's go ahead and the other pose that is very, very helpful for the throat chakra is bridge pose. And we'll do some moving bridges first, and then we'll land in a held bridge. And again, held bridge and moving bridges are really good for your back too. So all these things that we're doing for our throat chakra have real benefits for your whole back, not just your upper back. So you want something nearby for when you do the held version, either a bolster, a block, or a rolled blanket. You don't want anything under your head during the bridge pose. That could be a little dangerous to your neck. So setting up for the bridge pose, knees are bent, feet are on the ground. Let's start with our hands face down by our side. And to warm up the bridge pose, roll back and forth in a pelvic tilt. Roll back and forth like a rocking chair, getting your pelvis to move as a singular unit. And then let's go ahead and warm up the top of the body as well. Tuck your chin in, put your head neutral, lift your chin up, back to neutral. tuck the chin in, come to neutral, head up. Well, it's really chin up, back to neutral. Don't lift the back of your head off the ground. Tuck the chin in, come to neutral, and chin up and neutral. So now hands are back by your side. When you roll forward, lift the upper body a little bit off the mat, and you should have maybe two arches, an arch under your low back and an arch under your shoulders. Your chin is tucked. Roll back, lift the chin up to neutral, just neutral, and start to lift the hips off the ground. If you want to, you can tuck your shoulders under. When you tuck your shoulders under, tuck the chin back in. Release the chin again, and as you come down, lift the chin to the sky. So rolling forward, chin is tucked. You should have two arches under your low back and upper back. Rolling back, you're more neutral. The chin is neutral. Everything is neutral. Lift up the hips. Tuck the chin into the chest as you roll your shoulders under. And as you release back down, allow your chin to come up to the sky and let it go. Let's do this one more time. Roll forward, releasing the low back first, then tuck the chin, feel the arch under the upper back. Then draw the chin back to neutral as you flatten your back on the ground. Start to roll the hips up. Now, if you want to draw the shoulders slightly under the chest, toward the chest. No, the chin is to the chest, the shoulders are under the back. This time you can come up to the back of the arms if you want to. Your chin is to the chest. Now, as you roll down, allow your head to lift your chin up to the sky. And let's release all the way down for a moment, completely flat on the ground. Just move in any way that feels neutralizing. Shake things out, maybe gently without lifting your head, turning your head side to side. Now we will do a neck release as part of the next set of bridge poses. So in order to accomplish this safely, your hands are going to go behind your head, supporting your neck. Bend those legs back up again. Feet are on the ground. Now feel the back of your arms, on the ground. So lift the hips up, maybe 2-3 inches at the most. Lift the head up with the hands 1/4 of an inch at the most. Lower the hips down. Lower the head. Release tension behind your neck. Let's do this 2 more times. I'm going to move the microphone because it feels like it's going down my neck. All right, hands behind head. Lift hips first, a couple of inches. Using the hands to support your head, lift the head. Lower the hips first, then lower the head. Soften head, neck, and shoulders. 3rd time, lift the hips. Lift the head a little bit. Lower the hips. Lower the head. Release the arms. Allow the head to gently turn side to side. Notice if it's able to turn one way more easily than the other. So we're going to do 2 more versions of this. Now gently turn your head maybe 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees off to the right. So my back of my head is still on the ground. All I've done is turn the head slightly. Connect the hands behind the neck again. So you're doing the same thing we just did, but with the head slightly turned to the side. Lift the hips first in a mini bridge. Gently lift the head a tiny bit. Lower the hips and lower the head. Release the tension around your arms and neck. Do this 2 more times. Lift the hips in a mini bridge. Gently lift the head. Lower the hips. Lower the head and soften. Last time. Lift the hips. Lift the head. Lower the hips. Softly lower the head. Release the arms. And allow your head to gently turn only the direction that you were tilted toward. And come back to the center. We'll do one more version toward the other direction. Turn your head slightly to the other direction. Interlace the hands behind your neck again. Lift the hips. Lift the head. Lower the hips. Lower the head. Soften everything. Lift the hips. Lift the head. Lower the hips. Lower the head. Last time. Lift the hips. Gently lift the head, not very high. Lower the hips. Lower the head. Let the arms go. Allow the head to turn more to that side. And then just allow the head to turn side to side gently. So if you have your rolled blanket, your bolster, or your block around, you might want to stick this under the hips for a supported bridge pose. And the bolster or the rolled blanket to me is safer than the block. But if you choose to do the block, make sure the block is low enough on the butt. If you're doing a bolster or a blanket, you can adjust it any way you want. You can again decide whether you want to stretch your legs out, which can be too much for certain people, very good for others. My suggestion is tuck your shoulders a little under your back and tuck the chin in. So this is really working, stimulating your thyroid, particularly helpful for those of us who have slow thyroids, which many people do, either through Hashimoto's or hypothyroid disease. And just breathe here. Maybe making the humming sound. Hum, 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 hum. When you've had enough of that, go ahead and release the bolster from under your hips, windshield wiper your legs. You can add in the opposite arm if you want to. All I'm doing is placing the opposite arm of the direction of the legs on the ground above my head. And you could turn your head if that feels good. Explore different leg positions, maybe closer together, maybe further apart. And legs up on the wall, on a chair, on just in the air is a very great way to end a practice that involves the throat chakra. Now, very young, flexible, serious yogis get completely into a shoulder stand. I haven't done a shoulder stand in probably 5, 6 years or more. Some people do a plow. Haven't done a plow in many years. So literally all I do is I elevate my hips somehow. And those of you who have a chair, you could just be hanging your legs over a chair, or if you have a nearby wall, or you just literally let your legs go up like this. Now, if you need to support your neck, you would take the blanket and maybe make a little neck cushion that rolls right under your neck. So you could do something like that as well. So just find a breath practice that works for you here. Ujjayi breath might be a nice breath practice here if you want to try that, or if that's part of your practice. That's the one where you imagine you're sipping breath through a straw. So you constrict the back of your throat. You make a guttural sound. Some people call this a Darth Vader breath or the ocean breath, a very regulating breath. And when you've had enough of this pose, you can find any comfortable Shavasana position that feels right for you. So rather than do a reading today, because I've talked a lot, I'll just let you guys settle in to your Shavasana with some outer silence, and maybe you can tune in to anything inside that you're hearing. And what I'll do is I'll play my bowl while you're doing that. Figure out. This is so interesting. There's all sorts of weird things happening. Oh, here we go. Okay. So take your time. Oops, that's interesting.